Hello. We're going to make today quick, light, and easy. Like I know you wish that your day at the office could be. But the reality is that when we have big ambitions, we are going to sit at our desk sometimes and we are not going to want to do a dang thing. Happens to me. It will happen to you too. You can create the most amazing schedule in the world and still not feel like doing what's on it. Hey, imagine going, like setting the intention to go to the gym and you just say, you know what, screw it, I don't want to go. I mean, how many times have you done that? I know I'm guilty of that too. So today I want to share with you some strategies to help you follow through. Okay, this is the reality of creating a success plan, and I'm going to offer you something. I'm going to give you something that you can use to help make your life easier. If you don't know me, I'm Dina Cataldo. I am a master certified coach. I help lawyers conquer overwhelm and pursue really big goals without feeling the stress. And that's something that I prioritized in my life, and that's what I want to help you with here today. If you have ever just sat at your desk and stared at your computer or stared at the papers at your desk and didn't want to move, or if you found yourself doing all the little busy work that really wasn't going to move the big things on your calendar forward, this is for you. If you don't have a calendar, this is for you. I want to sell you on the benefits of creating a plan for yourself. If you caught last week's episode, I really talked about the benefits of it, and I encourage you to go back to that episode. I will link to it in the comments below after this is over. And if you know a lawyer who could benefit from this, please share it with them and like so that more people can see this video in the algorithm. It's important that we get more lawyers, successful, high achieving lawyers like you, the help that they need. Because once you get this dialed in, once you get the help that you need, you will be able to serve your clients at a bigger level. You are going to be able to have more experiences for yourself. You're going to be able to prioritize yourself and prioritize the things that are important to you rather than working all of the time. So this is what I want to share with you today. You will have those moments where you do not want to follow through. And in those moments are the opportunities for you to practice the mindset of following through. And in the guide that I'm going to be linking to below, you can go to dinacataldo.com/daily success. It's a one-page guide that will give you an outline of exactly the mindset I'm going to be talking to you about today. Okay, go to dinacataldo.com/daily success, download the one-page Lawyer's Daily Success Planner, and it will help you plan your day. So even if you're not planning your weeks, you're not planning on a macro level, I want to help you plan on a micro level so that you can see what's going on in your brain and start to learn the tools that you need to begin conquering your brain. What we're not taught is that we have two parts of our brain. So if we were taught this in high school, it would have been so helpful, right? So we have a part of our brain that is the primal brain. I'm going to call it the primal brain. It is the least evolved part of our brain, and it wants what it wants when it wants it. It wants to do all the things that feel good. It wants comfort. It doesn't want to do hard things. That's the part of the brain that is going to tell you to skip the gym. That's the part of the brain that's going to tell you that it's so much more important to finish that discovery than it is to make the client call when you know the client call is actually more important. So I want you to understand that there's nothing wrong with you if you don't want to do anything. There's actually a part of our brain that does not want us to do hard things. It wants to conserve energy. Now, we have a more evolved part of our brain. It's the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex, unfortunately, it didn't really work well with the primal brain in the sense that wouldn't it have been nice if our primal brain had just evolved so that we could just put something on a calendar and know we were going to do it, right? It just, okay, I wrote it down. Of course I'm going to do it. So what we need to do is we need to start tapping into the prefrontal cortex and start to begin telling our brain what to do. Now, you already do this. You may not be consciously aware of it, but you already do this to some extent. So for example, if you have kids and you have your kid, you need to pick her up from school, you are going to stop everything Even if you don't want to, put on clothes, put on shoes, whatever you have to do. You may not want to, but you're going to go and you're going to go pick up your kid from school because you know that that's important, right? Maybe you won't have any food in the house, right? And you're like, okay, I better go to the grocery store this week. I'm not going to have any food. I really don't want to, but you're like, no, I'm going to regret it later. Let me go to the grocery store. So I want you to know you already tap into this part of your brain. You may not be consciously aware of it or consciously aware of how you can make it happen. Now, this is a huge benefit at the office, knowing how to tap into this, because then you're not going to be waiting to the last minute to hit deadlines and using that adrenaline rush to try to do it. That's an unhealthy way to do it. I did that. I was diagnosed with breast cancer at 29 years old as a trial attorney. Not the most awesome thing in the world. But what I learned is that I was constantly fueling my day with adrenaline, and that in large doses can trigger cancer. And it can trigger other things like heart disease and other health anomalies, right? So we want to be really conscious of when we're using adrenaline versus when we're using our prefrontal cortex. So this is what this is going to look like in the context of the gym example that I gave you. You're going to have your one day, your daily planner out. You're going to have everything written down that you're going to do that day. And you're going to come to 4 o'clock. And that's when your gym is scheduled. And you're going to say, I don't want to. I really just think that it's more important if I work on this case. Because if I work on this case, then I won't be so behind the next day. First thing I want you to know is there's no such thing as behind. What's really going on in your brain is you're creating the busy work, right? Something that is more satisfying to your brain short term, like the primal brain's like, okay, I can get this done. Let me do this. Versus pausing and checking in and saying, wait a minute, there's a reason I scheduled gym on my calendar today. And my brain doesn't want to do it. And so my job is to tap into the prefrontal cortex and say, okay, I see that you don't want to do this. How can I make this easier? This is the mindset I want to share with you. Is when you take, it could be a project, it could be the gym, it doesn't matter what it is, whatever is on your calendar, and you mentally break it down into the smallest pieces possible, you can get your brain on board in increments. This is what it looks like for the gym example. Okay, I don't want to go. Well, wait a minute. I'll just change. If I just change, I don't have to commit to going to the gym. I'm just going to make a micro commitment of putting on my clothes. And then, okay, I'm going to make the micro commitment. I'm just going to put on my shoes. All right, so then I'm just going to grab the keys to my car, and I'm just going to go out to my car. And then I'm going to go to the gym. I'm still not committing to going to the gym. I'm just going to drive there. And then, of course, you're like, once I'm there, of course I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get out of the car and I'm going to go. And then you do it, and later on you feel so much better. Or you grumble the whole time. I've done this. Like, I just grumble the whole time. That's okay. You're allowed to do that. But what I want to share with you is that you can get your brain on board with these micro commitments because they're so small. Your primal brain has a harder time arguing with them. And so the gym, huge commitment, huge amount of energy you're going to be expending, right? Your brain is, your primal brain's like, I don't want to spend a bunch of energy on anything. So then your prefrontal cortex can go to the logic route and say, well, we're not committing to the gym. We're just committing to putting the shoes on, and so on. So notice this with every single project you have on your desk, right? If you have on your calendar that you are going to be doing casework at 11 a.m. and you don't feel like it, ask yourself what's going on. Is this a priority that you have for the day? This is something you wanted to get done? Why is it that you're not following through? It may be because it seems like a really big project. How can you get your brain on board? Maybe you just pull out the file, and then maybe you just open the file. Maybe you just take a couple notes of things you need to do, and then you make a call. Like, just slowly get your brain on board with that particular matter, and it's going to become so much easier. So that's one thing I really wanted to share with you, because you're not going to want to do things. It's going to be on your calendar. Your brain is not going to want to do it because it expends energy. Of course, our primal brain does not enjoy spending energy. It would much rather be sitting on the couch eating donuts, watching Netflix. You are going to feel uncomfortable. Okay, this is something I want to share with you. If you are in this moment where you are trying to break down your bigger task into tinier tasks, the micro commitments, you may feel uncomfortable. That's okay. Nothing has gone wrong. It's just you working against the primal brain and the primal urges, and you just saying, okay, I'm still going to be doing what I want to do. And it's okay to grumble. And then one other thing I want to share on this particular note is that it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, nothing has to look a certain way. When you are sitting down to do a project, a lot of times we will get into overwhelm because we think that this needs to be perfect. We hang all of these expectations on this one task. Our job future, right? Our future position. We hang the judgment of others and the balance of the work that we're doing. And it's so easy to do that when we have been socialized like we have to please others, to look to others for approval. Just notice that this is a socialization. It's something that we can just kind of look at and observe, and instead of hanging so much on this one particular task, we can pause and say, okay, everything is okay. I am okay. Let's just break this task down into small pieces and let's just focus on the task. Let's not focus on all of the other things my brain wants to tell me are at stake with this project. Let me just look at this project and break it down into its smallest pieces. That makes life so much easier. I want you to download the Lawyer's Daily Success Planner. Go to dinacataldo.com/daily success. You are going to get one page that you can use every single day. You can just download 5 of them, right, for this week or next week, whenever you're watching this. And you're going to take them one at a time. Every single day, you're going to look through the planner and you're going to say, okay, what do I want to schedule for today? Okay, you're going to write it all down. And on the left side of this page, you're going to prioritize what's the most important tasks for you to do. So you're going to be more aware when your brain wants to skip over those tasks. So that way you can start to practice what I shared with you today, because what I shared with you today is a practice, no perfection required. You're going to start noticing incremental improvements. It's also going to walk you through a mindset exercise to help you get your brain on board throughout the day, so that when you do notice those times when you're discouraged, when you're not moving through the day like you thought you would, you can come back to it and remind yourself of the mindset that you chose for that day. And at the end of the day, I put an exercise also on that side of the page to help you improve daily. Our work is not to be perfectionists. Our work is to incrementally improve ourselves. Calendar management is not about like just structuring our day in a way that we're robots. We want to create a situation where we are incrementally improving ourselves, incrementally improving our efficiency, but also incrementally improving ourselves and recognizing our humanity and recognizing and tapping into the fact that we are human and that we have needs. So look at this calendar, really take it in, and every single day you are going to find yourself incrementally improving. This isn't something you have to be perfect at. It's just something that you need to start practicing, right? Just like riding a bike. We weren't perfect at riding a bike when we first started. We weren't perfect at walking when we first started. We needed to stumble. We needed to like make mistakes. I actually give you the tools to help you evaluate what's happening in your brain and what's happening in your day, so that way you can make your day better the next day. All right, so next week I'm going to show up. I'm going to do another one of these trainings, and we're going to talk about what happens next. What happens when you have your day planned and everything falls to pieces? Right? When you have an emergency and you just throw your hands in the air and you're like, what's the point of having a calendar? I'm going to share with you what that looks like, and I'm going to make it so that you don't have to worry about emergencies and you can still get the benefits of having a calendar, and you're going to get even more benefits from having that calendar when you have emergencies. All right? So I will talk to you then. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.